Opinion with J&M. Jonathan.
Yeah.
Unmuted Jonathan. How are you today, sir?
I was about to give you props, but you just...
I totally muted myself.
Kept yourself muted. Yeah, that was kind of funny.
We're going to take that off camera. We're not going to show that.
40.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just got a text from my... I think it was my sister sending me something about my principal coming out with a book, like my grammar school principal. I think she passed away already, but...
Wait. She passed away. How's she coming out with a book?
Well, of course it.
Somebody else is coming out with a book for her.
Don't ask me about the physics and stuff of it.
I know it's a bit complicated.
I'm interested in it now. Like it seems like she came from like a poor background, so I want to see.
Do you have
what that's all about?
Do you have bad memories?
No, she was great.
To the principals?
It was the assistant principal that was a nightmare. Yeah. But she was nice. She was really nice.
Cool. That's not... Actually, you know what? Let me read that book, too. I want to see what she said. Maybe she mentions you. Yeah. Or you guys. Because you guys all went to the same... You guys all went to the same school, right? You and your siblings?
Yeah, but there's like 800 kids in there.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure some kids stand out.
Not like me.
I'm going to tell you...
not stand out.
I bet you... So, if you go back to your school right now and somebody still works there, they wouldn't recognize you?
My school's gone. It's
okay,
demolished.
Never mind. I take that back.
It's part of Illinois Masonic, I think, right now. Yeah. Anyways,
we have another guest today. He's an actor. Awesome actor. I think you just booked something recently, if I'm not mistaken, or you're just doing something with David. What's his last name? Bianco. Yes, because I saw you guys posted. He posted something about you.
That's your guy. City 3. City of Vultures 3.
Really?
Get the name right, Dan.
So introduce yourself. Yes. What do you do? Why are you here? And that kind of stuff.
All right. My name is Daniel Vaughn Manasia. And I'm an actor, and that's why I'm here. A voiceover. Nice. I have a voiceover demo. So that's another goal.
Interesting.
I started acting 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Took my first class 5 years ago.
Later in life.
I'm there too. Hey, I'm in that boat.
Seriously. Yeah, it was a voiceover class. And he's like, oh, you got a great voice. We really like your voice.
He does.
Yeah, I can totally.
You don't know what to do with it. So take an acting class.
Okay, you do have a really I'm trying to think of someone like that, like narrates that has that type of voice. That I don't know, like something manly about his voice. That's awesome.
Dave Attenborough. No, it's not.
I don't even know who that is. Okay, I don't even know who that is.
He's the nature guy.
He's the nature guy. Yeah.
Nature guy. From where?
Yeah.
From where?
What do you mean? From everywhere?
He did a lot of the narrations or the voiceovers for nature shows, and
you would know
his voice if you heard it. Discovery Channel. And
okay. So what's what are you working on right now currently? Anything specific? You're fine.
No. I'm actually for stage, not on camera. I'm understudying for a new work at Straw Dog called On the Greenbelt. Which I'm very excited about because I fell in love with the character when I read the script.
Nice.
It was one of those parts I really wanted when I auditioned for it. And I was really bummed when I didn't get a call back.
Ouch.
And I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I let go of it, went on with life, and then got an email that they offered me the understudy. So that starts. I'm going to work with, the director is Jonathan Barry. I have too many Barrys in my life. I also have worked with Matthew Barry, who is a coach and actor and casting director.
Okay,
there's a lot of indie films.
I thought he said Matthew Perry for a second.
Yeah, right.
That would be awesome.
I work with Matthew Perry.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be
great. That would be amazing.
But anyway, I wanted to work with Jonathan Barry, so it's going to be fun to watch. And Straw Dog's on my list, so building a relationship with them.
That's awesome.
For those of us who don't act like me, understudy would be...
Okay. Understudy, I personally think it's a harder role. So you get a lead.
Yeah.
You're playing Mike. I'm understudying your role. So if you get sick, something happens, you can't go on, I have to be ready to go on.
Okay. Yeah.
I just got done understudying a one-man show. Kurt Nabig wrote a show about his life called Stove Toucher. 63-page, hour and a half nonstop talking.
That sounds fun.
Jesus.
It was fun.
Incredibly challenging.
Yes. I will never be afraid of memorizing again.
Oh, geez.
Because that was that was a bear, and it was an honor because Kurt's kind of my stage guy. I've done a lot of his classes, coached with him quite a bit. So he's trusting me with a lot.
I feel kind of stupid right now because I'm starting to remember that Seinfeld episode where he's dating the understudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think George runs over Bette Midler or something like that, and then she takes the role. Yeah.
That's kind of the joke. The joke is, okay, who do we trip and who do we push down the stairs?
Yeah.
So we can get on stage.
Exactly.
You're not. Are you comfortable on stage? I'm terrified.
You know, comfortable, is that the right? I don't know if that's the right word. I am once I'm out there, of
course,
and as long as I've done the preparation.
But it's something you've been interested in.
That was what I started. Yeah. Okay, because I planned on stage.
I have no intention of ever hitting a stage in my life.
When I first started, I had no intention of doing on camera because I hate looking at myself on film.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that, right?
Yeah, right. And I got my first lead, and we were 3 weeks into the show when the quarantine happened.
Ouch.
We were Jeff recommended, which in Chicago is kind of a cool thing. It's like the local Oscars.
Okay.
When you're recommended, they don't tell you who's being nominated. You just know that at least 3 things about the show have been nominated. And then the quarantine happened, and I thought, oh, okay, it's only going to be a month, right? Everybody thought it was going to be a month.
Yeah.
And then when they pretty much decided that theater was going to be closed for a minimum of a year, I'm like, well, I'm already starting late. I don't have a year to lose.
That is
like,
true.
oh my God. So that was it. I was going to quit. And then 3 days later, I was taking all the Zoom classes I could. I just love this. I can't quit. But Zoom classes, I did a couple stage on Zoom. With a company in New York, the Laramie Project. But on Zoom, it's pretty much the same rules as on camera.
Yeah,
you're not running all over the place and doing big movements. You're still in a frame.
In a frame.
So that was the first step toward on camera classes. And reality is, you got to pay the bills.
That's true.
On camera and commercials are going to pay the bills.
That's true. That's absolutely true. This is why, you see, I'm the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah.
Because on stage, you have to be very big and very expressive and whatever. I'm not that. I'm kind of the opposite of that. Like, I love the frame.
Yeah.
Because not that it makes the job any easier, because I feel like on stage is a lot harder in the sense of, because you have more, you see more. Right. So as an audience member, you see more of the person and you see more of what's going on, versus on screen, you see what the director wants you to see and to focus on what they want you to focus on at every moment, basically.
Right.
And that kind of, it scares me because, like, again, I started late. I think I started acting maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, taking a couple acting classes. And just the thought of that just terrifies the shit out of me. I know at some point I'm probably going to have to try it just for like shits and giggles. I'm probably going to suck at it, but I don't know. I give you guys all the credit in the world. Stage makes you a better actor overall. I believe it. I'm not just saying that across the board. Everyone will tell you that. I agree. I talked to casting director after casting director who says that they look on your resume for what you've done on stage. I agree. Because it rounds you out. I agree. Because I think most actors, most big time actors, when you talk to them, at some point or another, they were on the stage. Yeah. Like my thing was, I had a scene with J.K. Simmons, and he was talking to me about how he spent like 20 plus years on stage, and then he finally decided to come out and do acting. And I mean, obviously he's an Oscar winner, right? He's really good. He's really good. He's really good at what he does. And it kind of makes me want to, tap into that. But again, I'm still getting my feet wet in this business. Absolutely. So absolutely. I like you said, still got to pay the bills. So like I have my normal 9-to-5 job or whatever, and then acting when I can, you know, hopefully one day I'll make the stage. I don't know. We'll see what happens. John doesn't have no faith in me on the stage, but because I can't.
That's why I'm going to be there the first time you do it.
Oh God, I won't even come out. I'm not even going to come up from the back.
Walk out, no lines. Nothing comes out of my mouth.
The spotlight's going to be on you, but I'm out there.
And that's what's going to kill me, dude. That's what that drip of sweat's going to come down the side of my head.
He's going to make sure he's in the front row. In a small black box where you can see everybody.
I'm going to tell the usher, don't let this guy in. You see that guy right there in the picture? Don't let him in.
You can't do that.
I could do it.
A good thing that doesn't even look like me. So, I That'll work out well
Your
for
hair
me.
turned a little gray back there.
I don't have a thick mustache like that.
Anyways, so you prefer stage over film?
I don't think it's preference at this point. I think like if I have my dream job, David and I were just talking about this.
You train with David, right?
I just started coaching with him. It would be making a living with TV, film, commercial, and doing a couple stage a year.
Okay, that's not a bad
The reality is making money on stage is difficult.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
It's really tough. And it's a big commitment. Even understudy, I can't commit to anything else during the weekends because if I have to go on, I have to go on and I have to be there within an hour. So I can't commit to a shoot on the weekends during a show.
Okay.
So it's a big commitment. And the more I do on camera, the more I'm falling in love with on camera.
I think the thing about camera to me is again, the opposite of stage.
Yeah.
Because I think stage, again, you have to be so big. I think the hard part about camera to me is like, trying to incorporate all these feelings and all this stuff here.
Exactly.
It's all through your eyes. You got to sell it. You know what I'm saying? But you're not selling it with your body. So eliminate all of that, and you got to somehow express everything. Yeah. Sometimes without even saying a word. Because
don't be obvious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then
don't look like you're thinking. Just
exactly.
Think. Yeah.
Just react to it. Because people say, "Oh, anybody can act." I mean, when you act, you look like you're acting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the point is not to look like you're fucking acting. Your point is look like a human being.
Exactly.
Who's actually going through these things.
Yeah.
So you started taking classes. Where'd you go?
Most of my stage was at Acting Studio Chicago.
Okay. Heard good things about that one.
Very good things. I mean, that's
often confused with the other one that we talk about sometimes that we don't really like to mention too much, but it's okay.
I tell people
who's we? I love to mention it.
You love that too. Because everybody gets those two confused. It's what is it?
Acting Studio Chicago is good.
And then Chicago Actor Studio.
Chicago Acting Studio.
Did you happen to go there?
No.
Okay.
Good job. You're one of the few that
fortunately, I do a lot of research. I don't make a decision to spend money unless I've been online Googling everything. So I Googled Acting Studio. I Googled all the schools, and all of them were great except
that one.
This one.
See, I made that choice because it was the most affordable one at the time. And that's what it was.
And that's your first thought,
right?
And then I talked to people along the way.
That went there or whatever.
Yeah,
again, I think we talked a little bit about it last week and we won't talk too much. But I mean, if you're just starting out and you kind of want to somewhat sample what it kind of might be like, I wouldn't say don't do it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's better to get your feet wet than to not get your feet wet at all.
Right. You're still experiencing.
Right. Something. The idea
the foundation
of it.
steps,
you know what I'm saying? So you went to Acting
Studio Chicago. Most of my on camera.
Little closer to the mic.
Most of my on camera was at the Forge Studio. It was Blue Door when I went. Now it's the Forge. Is
that the one on Western? No, that's Green Shirt.
That's Green Shirt. The Forge is in connection with Compass Casting.
Okay.
People that run Compass Casting run the Forge.
Okay.
Sarah. So I've done a lot of on camera there. Took a couple classes at Vaughn. Okay.
I took one recently there.
Currently taking a class at Ellenwood Studios on emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation.
It's a, how do you explain it? Reader's Digest. It's emoting emotions and tapping into your emotions without potentially being dangerous. I don't know how else to explain that. Like, I can create an emotion around a scene or around a line using Meisner techniques.
Okay.
But sometimes those emotions I can't just walk away from them. Emotional regulation is all about showing that emotion, that it's believable to the audience, whether you feel it inside or not.
Okay.
It's also, well, what if you don't feel sad? And what if you can't get to that place of sad in that scene? The audience will believe you're sad. The audience will believe those tears are real, without necessarily having to go there.
Okay.
So it's a long process because it's like any other technique. You have to learn a lot, and it's a lot of facial expressions, and there's a whole thing about the eyes. So emotions in the eyes, which is all
right.
Your close-ups on camera. So So for me, it's a game changer, because I'm not that guy that can think back about my life and come up with that really sad story and then walk on to a set or something and bring it up. Really? And get it out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the one thing you shot, like you cried in that scene. But you were thinking about something sad. Well, like, do you think you could have pulled that off without actually being sad?
Here's the thing. I read a long time ago, or I was watching videos on, like, you know, learning how to cry on cue and whatever, because we all do stupid research like that. And ironically, something stuck with me. So if you really think about it, right? If you think about what triggers feeling, right? So when you have something sad come up or whatever, you normally get certain feelings in your body, right? Could be tingling, could be whatever. Now, if you can find a way to trigger those things, it'll come out naturally without you having to force it out. You get what I'm saying? So like for me, like I know, like, okay, for example, again, not to bum out the situation, but like when my sister passed away, right? So I remember those feelings. I remember what triggered it, right? So now I start to practice on recalling those feelings,
like physical feelings.
Yeah, like a physical feeling. So like if I watch them, like, and again, I got made fun of because I cried. I'm a crier in movies and stuff like that. So I've learned to look at this guy. I've learned.
Didn't know that.
I can hide it too. But
apparently, you watch those movies without me being there. Yes.
Yes. Okay. You learn what those feelings are.
Yeah.
And like you can trigger them, you know, with anything. Like I'm not saying I can do it 100% on command, but if I needed to, I can probably pull those out, you know, and make it look natural, because I'm just recreating the feeling that I would get, and it just triggers. It's a weird thing. It's a weird, like a lot of actors can't do it. I mean, and that's okay. I don't think being able to cry on cue is really going to book you a role or not. No. I think it's more how you sell the overall. Because there's a lot, like even yesterday in the this week on the PD show, she was gonna cry, but she didn't cry, but she sounded like she was choking up, which was more powerful. You get what I'm saying? Yes. The concept of tears coming out and snot and all that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna book a role. It's not gonna help.
Sure, they prefer sand snot.
I mean, it would be like a tool. It's like a tool. If you have it in your belt, you have it. If not, you can still get away with doing a bunch of stuff with other tools.
Yes,
you know.
The emotional regulation, you get there with breath pattern.
Yes.
Expression in your face, body posture. Obviously, when you're close up, it's all here. But they've done it was based on a whole study done by a woman named Alba, where she taped people having spontaneous emotions and clocked all of the similarities. So everybody that's having a tender moment or thinking about a picture of their baby or the picture of their kids are going to have similarities across the board. And when you tap into those, you will trigger the emotion without having to really go there. That's where I'm getting. It's like I'm getting to the point where it's getting to that. Where for me, I can cry at a commercial. I mean, I can get the right commercial and I'm bawling. Ask me to do that on cue 5 times in a row.
Different story.
I'm not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing though. Doing it like 20 times or whatever. I mean, that's exactly. Gotta like. I'm like, I would tell the director, you got one shot, bro. You got one shot. You ready for it? You ready? You ready? You sure? Yes. Okay. Because here it comes.
That's where I want something based on. This is based on. You do this, you're going to get this every single time.
Right. And again, it's almost like it's like a muscle.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you practice. It's something that you can, again, like anything else. It's like anything else. It takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes, you know, to figure it out. I'm not going to guarantee that I'm a crier on cue, but I've learned how to kind of just trigger it, and I can make the kind of the tears come out a little bit.
That's awesome. I can't.
You can't? Again, it's something, and it's weird because I don't want to say I wanted to do it, but like I would watch people do it, and I'm like, you know what? It'd be cool to kind of figure out how to do it, because there has to be something to that, right? Because actors, you can't tell me an actor does it, a professional actor, a big time actor can do it just because. Like there has to be something behind it, right? Not necessarily a science, but like there has to be something, right? There has to be a trick to it.
Apparently there is a science.
There is a science, because we're human beings. We have feelings and things just happen. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to Vagabond, had a couple classes. Where'd you go after that? You mentioned one more, I think, after that.
The Forge.
The Forge.
I've done a lot of one-on-one coaching with Matthew Berry,
Okay.
who's on the West Coast. And I've done a lot of coaching with Jerry Kernian, who is amazing. And a couple on-camera courses actually on Zoom at Acting Studio with Janelle Snow.
Awesome.
Again, she's also. It's great to get all these different teachers because they're going to teach you something different.
Absolutely.
The people I've loved and the people that have helped me get to a point where I am now are awesome. But all of them have said, take a class with Janelle, take a class with Jody Murphy. Jody Murphy's my on-camera person, where Kurt is my stage person. They can both pull it out of me.
I think it's great to go to like you said, you pick up little things from different people. Not every teacher has the same, I don't want to say attack. I got yelled at for using the word attack last week. The same style or direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everyone's a little different. Like I remember my first teacher was really big on movement and breathing and all this. Then I had another teacher that was really big on, keeping everything simple and in, because again, I'm not a stage actor, but I'm assuming someone like yourself who's more in like recently in stage. And then when you go to camera, it's like, I got to bring it down a notch. One of my classes I did at Vagabond recently, like 3 of the girls were from stage. They did a bunch of stage acting, and it was funny because I remember watching. Who was I watching that said this? Michael Caine said it in an old video he had. He was like, you got to bring it down. You got to bring it down. Yeah. Everybody's seen that video. That's a great video. I love that video. I want to read the book adaptation of that because it's awesome. And it's true because, again, on stage you're super expressive and whatever, and you don't need that. Because you're not going to see all this. Like, think about it. If you watch a film, right? If you watch most films and you really look at it, 90% of the time, all you see is a close-up to a medium shot. That's all you see. Yeah. So they're not doing anything with their body, right? Because they have to kind of like not block the cameras or whatever. So it's all sold in the face. Like, the concept of toning it down is one thing for me. So like learning how, I had a teacher that was really big on that. Like, bring it down a notch. Bring it down to film. Yeah. Because you're not in a theater, you're in film, so it's all different. I had another teacher that was all about voice, like learning how to exercise your voice and breathing and all that. Which is it's great to hear from different people. Same thing when I had the teacher that talked about Meisner and other techniques or whatever. Another class that I took was like for human behavior, which I thought was really helpful.
Absolutely,
that one was really helpful because it taught me how to like not think so much about how do I act this, more of how does a human do this?
Being do it? Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like I just did an audition with him last weekend where I was a security guard. And I'm like, well, I can overact this. And I'm trying to think of my high school security guards, how they would act. How would they say, come on, next. Put it out. That's it. Yeah. Next. Get the hell out. Like it was like, you got to make it, you got to bring it down because sometimes we overthink things. I don't know if you struggle with something.
Absolutely. Sarah Clark, not Clark, she just got married. I can't remember her married name and I feel bad about that. Constantly would work with me on a scene. She's also with Compass Casting. And she'd say, okay, I want you to work on this for maybe another hour and then leave it. Because you're going to overthink it. You're going to overwork it and it's not going to be spontaneous and it's going to sound like you've prepared. And it's not, it's just going to sound acted. I'm like,
and it should be the opposite. It's crazy how they say that, right? Like they tell us to prepare, right? But I remember I had a teacher that told me, you have to learn the lines to forget the lines.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you, John? You learn the lines to forget the lines.
Doesn't make sense to me.
No.
It makes perfect sense. Because the thing is, you're memorizing the lines, right? But you have to forget them because, like he just said, it looks like you memorized something instead of it being a natural reaction to something. And that's what acting is reacting. That's the harder part.
You want the lines to come out naturally. You just don't want it to look like you've
practiced for the last 20 years.
That you memorized it. You don't want it to sound like you memorized it.
No, it makes sense.
It's like you do all the work to let it go. Kurt Nabig and I, he would tell me for this character, I want you to go home and I want you to think about, how would you feel if you were an addict and then your daughter is an alcoholic And she tries, and she commits suicide, and she chooses to do it by laying on top of you, passed out on the couch, and she cuts open one of her arteries because it happens in a play.
Right. How
would he feel? So I did all that work, and I did all that. I came back, and I did the scene, and it was awesome because I had all these emotions. He said, okay, now don't show us any of that. And trust that we're going to see it because you did the work. And it works. It's like, oh my God, that was an epiphany moment.
That's tough. I think that's the hard part of acting.
Yes.
Like trying to display it, naturally.
Yes.
Like you're actually feeling something.
For the first time.
Yeah.
For the first time.
It's never happened. It never, because you know the outcome, right?
That's hard.
You know the outcome, but you're not supposed to know the outcome.
Don't play the outcome. Yeah.
Like if you know your sibling's gonna die in the scene, you can't know that she's gonna die in the scene because you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Until it happens. Yeah.
But it's tough. And again, this is why this is not an easy career.
No.
This isn't an easy thing to do. Everybody says I can act. I'm gonna tell you, it's tough.
I never said that. I'd like
but you
to
can
do
wrestle.
The voiceover.
Oh, he can wrestle. Yeah. You could definitely do that.
Well, yeah. What about that voiceover stuff? You ever think about doing like cartoons and stuff like that?
I need to. It's one of those things where it's out of my comfort zone.
It's odd too because you don't have the voice for like a cartoon. It's like. Yeah, I don't see it, but you have like a great voice. I just don't know where I would like see it in a
commercials.
Cartoon.
Voiceover. Yeah. But I talk for animals all the time. Now, if I can transfer that into doing it on purpose, it could be cartoony. I mean, I talk for my dogs all the time. I mean, it's crazy, and people think I'm weird. I've been challenged once in a zoo not to talk for an animal for 15 minutes, and I can't do it. So if I could tap into that, that's something. It's on the horizon. Just not right now.
The laugh, though. The laugh I can see as like an evil like character. Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
I get cast as a lot of evil, and I'm like, I'm not an evil person.
So do I, but I'm not evil. No, we can always play one.
I don't
know. We always can play one on TV. Voice acting is really cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would never tap into that, obviously, because I don't think I have the pipes for that ever. But it's something that's so like I would think the coolest job in the world. Like the guys from Family Guy, for example, right? Yeah. Like, you know what it must be like to like, oh, we're just gonna go into work. I'm
nice.
in pajama pants or whatever you want, and you just stand in front of them like,
maybe brush their teeth.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Hair's a mess. Our hair would be a mess, whatever. And we just go and we get into a studio, and then we just and especially someone like, let's say Mila Kunis, for example, who does the voice of Meg, which it's her voice. She just talks like
there's not even any preparation there.
Yeah, it's not like Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane's got to do all the other voices. That's a challenge. To have it at the right pitch. Because I think I was watching a behind the scenes one time about that, and they were telling him, "Oh, you know what? You got to do it over again. You sound a little too much like Brian." I think he was doing like Stewie or something or whatever, and I'm like, he's got amazing talent.
That's crazy.
That's got to be the coolest job. Can you imagine getting paid to just talk on a microphone and in your voice and
I
be
think
a character?
Some people that got their like studios at the house, like narrators.
Yeah.
They just send them a script and they do it in their basement.
Yeah.
How nice is that?
You know who was a weird one that I noticed that I saw on YouTube one day? The lady who does the voice of Bart Simpson.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. When I saw her, I think she was getting interviewed one time, right? She was getting interviewed for something, and the guy who's interviewing her was like, do you ever get like these weird looks because you're the voice of Bart Simpson? And she's like, yeah, I went up to this restaurant and they didn't want to let us in, but I'm like, you know what, let me pull a little bit of a rank here because I'm Bart Simpson or whatever. And she goes, yeah, hey, do you watch the Simpsons? Like, yeah. It's like she does the voice, but it almost looks like she's doing voice over.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because it sounds so opposite of what her voice is, and it's weird coming out of her. I never had that feeling where I'm like, wow, that really came out of you? Like, seriously? Yeah. But that's got to be like an amazing thing. When you've done voiceover, I'm assuming, or you're just still training for it?
Still training. I've cut a demo.
Okay.
And it's all commercial.
Cool.
And even that is not your normal voice.
You know whose voice you kind of, and you have kind of a similar look to, like J.K. Simmons. I can totally see him doing
He's on my list. Yeah.
I can totally see him doing the State Farm commercials. He's got the voice for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Some random
cover it.
pill.
We know it because we covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's challenging in voiceover for you?
The cadence, because every copy has a cadence.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily your normal voice. And my S's. I don't, talking to you face to face, you would not hear any S's. But when I'm taping, if it's an S at the end of a word, there's a little
like slippery snake.
And I'm like,
slippery snake.
So I had to figure out ways to hold my mouth so I don't do that. And I'm like, I've never had S's my entire life. Where did that come from? It's like, oh my God.
So it's like he gets
that stereotypical
a lisp out of nowhere.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, exactly. I'm like, where did that come from? He's like, I don't know, but you got to figure it out or we got to avoid S's. I'm like, okay, great. Okay. So S's and cadence, because there was yes, because.
Have you ever pulled that?
Now I want to be aware of it.
I think we got a de-esser in this thing somewhere.
Cool. And that's what he said. They said there are ways that you can, finesse that, but
take away the spiciness of the S.
Exactly. But once you practice it enough to get the cadence and the tone of the copy, it's amazing. When you hear it back with music, oh my God.
Have you, I guess maybe for your own fun and practice, have you done like kind of how he said, like a cartoon, maybe like a scene that you've practiced? Is that any more difficult since you don't have someone there?
So
and
I said,
you don't see what's going
see
on.
him in a cartoon.
No, I'm just saying
he doesn't have that voice, but he has a voice.
No, I was saying more like if it was challenging, because think about it like this: when you're acting on stage or in film, there's stuff going on in front of you. Right. So at least you're in an environment.
Yes.
If someone's getting shot, you usually see what's going on at the time or whatever. When you're voice acting, if someone gets hit by a car, it just says it in the script.
Right.
You don't actually see it.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So that to me would be more challenging.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. And that needs to be on the list. Just to play around with, because there's money there. I mean, anything that pays the bills, anything that pays, it sounds bad. I would do it because I love it, but it pays the bills.
And it pays
the cartoons,
it very well.
I need to just pull a cartoon and try to do it. I tried to do the intro to Gargoyles.
Oh my God.
Which was, oh my God.
You remember that show?
It was fun.
Of course I do.
That was the greatest show. One of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah. And I don't even remember the guy, the main guy. Goliath. Like, I could do his voice.
He had like a little British voice, right?
That's the, oh my gosh.
He looked. I think I know. I'll tell you. Well, I got my phone on airplane. Never mind. I'm not even gonna check. I'm not even gonna check it because I don't want to. I don't want to risk any static in the fucking microphones.
Right. But anyway, the
great
point
voice.
is,
great voice, by the way.
That's something to play with when I have time.
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's cool, man.
That's a time thing.
That
just
is
doing
really
voiceover.
What
You
was
have
that
to
movie
practice
with
every day.
Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz?
I don't know. You got me.
She's Mary. Comedy.
Yeah. The movie.
That's her father. He plays her father.
She does the hair thing.
Yeah.
that
wasn't
famous
no
scene
gel.
that everybody knows. That
was
wasn't
not
gel. Something about Mary? What?
There's something about Mary.
Yes.
There's something about
hilarious.
Mary.
That's it, really?
Yeah,
I feel like I've never seen that movie.
No, it's hilarious.
What?
I feel like I've never seen that movie.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you.
That famous scene.
But you've watched every rock movie?
No, I have not watched every rock movie.
That's shameful.
At all. Okay. I guess we should ask you the same question we ask everyone.
Let's not get into that.
You know good acting. When you see good acting, you would say that's great.
Absolutely.
Okay. The man on the wall to your left, that fine specimen on the wall back there, what would be your opinion?
That's an exhale of
disappointment.
He's excellent.
Here's the deal.
That's never good when you start saying
Nope, that's not a good start.
I am entertained by some of his movies.
He's entertained.
And I think because it's hard because his accent, I think, sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah,
English
but
is not his first language.
Keith David is the voice of Goliath. Keith David.
That's the guy.
The guy, the first guy.
That's the gargoyle guy.
He's the Goliath.
Yeah,
He plays
that's
Goliath. Okay, now I can see. Now I can see the voice. Yes.
Yeah.
Would I expect him to get an Oscar? No.
I mean, the fact that if we even put him in the conversation nowadays at all, I mean, he didn't win it when he was young.
Yeah.
He's not even going to get close.
Right.
I think he serves a purpose.
Absolutely.
He's like The Rock.
Absolutely.
Like, The Rock is not a good actor either.
He paved the way for people like...
Right. The Rock, Dave Bautista, they're not amazing actors, but they serve a purpose because they're big guys and they can act.
Exactly.
That make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part for everyone. There's a part for him because in the 90s, in the early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, when you needed a big
mid 80s,
right.
You needed a big guy, muscular guy.
Yeah.
That's who you got.
And I've not heard his story.
Oh, it's a great story.
He got jobs. He worked.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was.
So there has to be
Yeah.
a lot going on where he had to hustle. He didn't just go home and people called him up and said, "Hey, we'd like you to do this." That may have happened once, but not a career.
No, he was
not a career.
Yeah, he was an animal. He was like he would work out for like, I don't know, like 2-3 hours a day. Then he'd have his construction job, and then at nights he would take acting classes.
See, respect that.
That's
totally respect that.
That's a grind right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say again, he's done things that we wish we can do, or we want to work to we can do. So at the same time, I respect him. I'm going to be honest and say he's not the greatest actor in the world.
No.
That by no means.
No.
By no means.
We can say that about a lot of people.
Now, okay, so now I feel comfortable asking if you know my favorite actor, which I'm pretty sure you do.
James Edward.
No.
Almost.
No.
No.
You know who Gary Oldman is?
Gary Oldman.
Yes.
That's
Great actor, right?
Yes.
Thank you, John. That's all I just want to make. He doesn't like him because I like him.
No, I never said I didn't like him.
His versatility is
amazing.
See,
thank you very much. Finally, somebody knows about this stuff.
That's what I laugh
takes on
about.
A character.
That's what I laugh about.
No, some people know.
When he says, "Oh, it's this guy," and people are like, "What? Who?"
No, there's been people that know who he is. Obviously, they don't know his entire. The thing is, here's the thing about Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, again, he disappears in a film.
Yes.
Because his characters, he has a bunch of them, are so different and so not him that you lose track that it's Gary Oldman.
Absolutely.
That's what makes him great.
And if you start talking about the roles he's played, people are going to know who he is. They just don't know necessarily
that it's Gary Oldman. Right.
You will know that he was Dracula with Winona Ryder.
Yes.
You won't necessarily.
You didn't know that movie? Really?
You have never seen that movie? What is wrong with you?
I've watched every Gary Oldman movie. I've watched every Gary Oldman.
I've never seen There's Something About Mary.
Well, you're really going to compare that?
You do got to watch Something About Mary.
Sure, but that's apples to oranges. But okay.
Your Cameron Diaz class.
That Ben Stiller crying at the end, walking away. That's a
really
tearjerker.
moved you?
Yeah,
it really moved you?
I believe that.
I don't know. To me, Gary Oldman's one of those dudes that like, if he's still working, if I ever make it into Hollywood and if I ever have a scene with that man or he's remotely in my vicinity, like I just want to watch him and I want to see how he does what he does.
Yes.
He's one of those. Like,
yes.
I don't know. It's weird. Like he's like that for me. Heath Ledger, when he was still alive, was kind of like that with me. Denzel has his movies where I'm looking at him like, man, this guy's really freaking good, But they're different, they're built different, like how they can change their voices and change their accents and change their characters and their personalities. And they're so different from who they are.
Yes.
In every movie.
Yes.
That's special to me. Arnold, unfortunately, couldn't do that.
No.
But again, he served the purpose. He played Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
that was cool.
See?
That was cool.
Right? Who else could have played him?
The Rock, I guess.
At the time,
sure. So who's your favorite actor?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me.
John hates when I ask people these questions.
You put him on the spot, and then it's like 5 minutes.
J.K. Simmons right now because he's in everything, and he can chameleon. I think that, and I tend to be focusing on actors that are a
little closer to the mic,
closer to my demographic, to my age group.
Okay, he's really good. He's a really good guy.
For whatever reason,
really cool. Really cool dude.
Sometimes it's who I don't like.
And this is
exactly.
It's hard.
And I should have planned for this.
It's okay.
I should have planned for this because you're an actor, and everybody asks you, "Well, who's your favorite actor?"
J.K. Simmons is.
And here's the deal:
really, really good. So that's a hell of a pick.
Nicole Kidman is not an actor, but she can throw herself into a role.
You know, Nicole Kidman. She is. I had a crush on her so bad when she was younger. Like, I remember watching her, and again, these are little kid movies that I watched a lot. But like, she was in Batman Forever.
Yes.
And she looked amazing in that movie. And then now I see her in the beginning of the AMC theaters. If you go to AMC theater, she comes out in the, oh, this is magic and blah, blah, blah. And she still looks so so there's something about her. She's an amazing actress as well. Yes. You know, I there's a lot of actresses that I like, like the women, like Viola Davis is amazing. Yes. She's freaking.
Absolutely.
Like every person alive, when you think of women actresses, she's got to be your top two.
Especially for characters, yes.
Like she
can do it. She can do it all. Yes,
she has to be. Guy wise, is tough for me. Obviously, Gary Oldman's my favorite actor. It's tough for like my number two.
Cumberbatch, believe it or not.
Oh, better than Cumberbatch.
He can do.
Yeah. I like him.
A bunch of stuff.
I like him. Sometimes I feel like he's not perfectly casted. Sometimes, but I mean, he gives it a good go.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender. I like Michael Fassbender. Yeah. He's pretty good too.
Yes.
James McAvoy's good too.
Yes.
There's a lot of guys, man.
Some of them.
This is why we don't ask these questions anymore. We're gonna stop asking these questions.
Totally blank. My left foot.
It's all right.
He did my left foot. When he throws himself into a role, literally, he doesn't break character the entire shoot. The entire time they're filming, he goes home with the character.
So he's a method actor.
Emotionally destroys them. Nicole Kidman, as much as I love her, she once went up to get an award, and because she was working on a really intense movie, she was about to break down. She was a mess. She was exhausted. She could hardly stand up. She apologized because she said, "I'm working this really difficult character, and it's just really taking a toll. But I want to thank everybody for this." It's like, that's just not healthy. That's just not healthy.
That can't be right.
Be able to turn it off and turn it on.
Everybody has to have something.
Sort of.
Yes. I know there's some actors there that take the method really, really, really seriously. Like I heard like Jared Leto. Jared Leto does that a lot. Yeah. Like he's nonstop, that character. And I'm like, that can't be good for you.
Yeah, no.
Like, did you ever hear the story of Will Smith? He said he tried to do method once.
Yeah.
And it was just going crazy because he could, like, his family hated it because he couldn't.
Exactly.
You can't like.
It doesn't just impact you.
Yeah, it's like, unless you're going to go in a hotel and lock yourself in, which even then is probably not healthy.
No, I mean, it's even worse.
Yeah, I mean, you can go crazy with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not you.
No.
You know, I think I never want to get into that method, never, but like, you got to be able to turn it off.
Absolutely.
You have to.
You have to.
There's got to be something you can do to wind
whatever
down
it is.
or whatever.
You know, I went to a play. I went to a play. I can't remember the name of it. I feel really bad about that. But the actress was unbelievable, and her emotional intensity was heart-wrenching. And afterwards, we saw her out in the front, and she was normal. And one of my friends asked her, "How do you do this every night?" She goes, "When I take my hair down, I'm myself, and I leave it in the dressing room."
And she's giving out high fives and stuff in the lobby.
Seriously, because you got to do that. You just have to be able to do that.
I feel like people that do go the other route it's because they want to. I don't think they have to.
I don't think you have to, but some of them, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it would probably help, right? The concept of it isn't crazy, right? You know, you're so, because you got to remember, you are playing someone else, right? So the more time you spend as that person, you know, it becomes more you, and you can bring it out.
How long does it take to shoot a movie? Like 2 years?
A long time.
Well, what the hell?
Exactly.
You're not going to be that person.
It could take a very long time.
Right.
I mean, it could take a very long time.
Get out of here.
I saw a clip of Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was the Wolf of Wall Street. I was going to say he needs to be on the top, one of my tops. And it was Wolf of Wall Street, and somebody was filming him, you know, getting right before they started shooting, and he was joking and talking and blah, 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 blah. And as soon as they said action, he was in character, and it was intense, and that, to me, is great preparation and a safe way to play some of those roles.
Did you ever watch, what was that movie he was in with, it was recent. It was like about Hollywood. The movie was about Hollywood.
Yes, I can't tell you the name of it.
Damn it, I can't think of the
title.
Name. Yeah, it was, whatever, something in Hollywood, whatever it was. So I went to go watch it, and that movie was interesting because again, it's like from a behind the scenes kind of look, which is interesting. Like I love watching it
with Brad Pitt.
And with Brad Pitt.
Yep.
And there was a scene similar to what you were saying, where like the actor who's playing the scene in the movie, like he tries to do a scene, or really emotionally kind of fucks up, and then he goes into his trailer, and then it just comes out. Like it just this emotional, powerful scene. And it's crazy because he's barely fucking moving.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's more power in standing still than there is in fucking moving. It's crazy. He does it so well, but it's like, again, it's the preparation, but again, you have to be able to shut that off. And in the movie, he does shut it off. Cause like I remember he would like practice his lines like floating on a pool on an inflatable thing with a little whatever. It was a pretty cool movie. But acting is fucking stressful too.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. It's a fun stressful, but it's stressful. Like, again, I do auditions with John all the time. And like, you can ask him. I mean, he'll be like, it's fine. I'm like, no, we got to do it again.
Yeah.
I can't even.
That's the hardest part. Yeah.
Imagine having to do like a major role with him.
Oh, fuck my.
Dude,
that'd be ridiculous.
Yes. You have to trust the director. That's the big deal. Again, Sarah, that was her big thing, was when I did a couple scenes for her. She said, you have to trust the director. And if I say it's good, it's good. And we have everything we need. So we don't need to do it again.
See, I trust them.
I know.
I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself.
I could do self-tapes for 5 hours.
Dude,
I
would too.
Stopped.
I would too. The thing is, again, like you said, the director, okay, so like, I was on PD. I didn't get a lot of, I did my part. I had a really, really small part. I do my part, and I guess I did what I needed to do because I didn't get a lot of direction. Right. But when I watched everybody else get their direction or whatever, it's like, again, you're in your own head sometimes, which kind of sucks.
Absolutely.
But again, this is their job, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to stop worrying about, this is my good side. This is not my good side.
Right.
That's why there's camera people. That's why there's lighting people.
Exactly.
Their job is to make you look the best you can look.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're not going to put you in a bad situation.
That's right.
And the fact that it's when you're on a set, and it's funny because it's true, everyone there is on your side.
Absolutely.
Like, do you need this? Do you need that? This
Absolutely.
is okay. I'm going to set this up again for you. Blah, blah, blah. You got a person for every goddamn thing there, because their job is to make sure you can give the best performance that you can give.
That's right.
And it should be easy. It's funny because it should be easy, right? But it's so challenging. It's so much fun though. Like I wish, John, honestly, the one thing I wish you could see was if I can bring you to a set so you can see what happens.
Right.
I want one day. I'm pretty sure one day COVID will be lifted.
Yes,
and maybe you can bring someone one day.
When you get to that Leo status, I guess you can.
I can just say whatever I want.
Bring anyone you want. Exactly.
I want him to be in the scene. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I just want. He can be over here.
Yeah, he's gonna be guy number 3. He'll be all right.
Give him a couple lines too.
You have to do it all yourself on a self tape.
Do you like self tapes, or would you rather do? Obviously, COVID threw a wrench and everything. Are you more of an in-person audition person, or that was horribly said? Are you more of an in-person audition, or you rather self-tapes?
I had an extreme hatred of self-tapes in the beginning. And part of that was just because how do you set the lights up?
Sure.
You're fine.
I never wanted to have to buy another iPhone, but iPhones really work well, so I had to upgrade to another iPhone. Apple and if I could, anyway.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I like this guy. Oh my
God, if I
Apple's such an overpriced
trash.
I mean, they're good products. They're just overpriced for what you get.
Exactly.
Like if it was a little less, if it costs less, I'd be all for it.
Yes.
But the fact that you don't get everything, like again, we're totally off topic. But with Android, at least with Android, you get everything in the kitchen sink for the price you pay.
Yes.
iPhone, you don't, but you're still paying the same amount of money.
And when they got busted purposely slowing your phone down so you had to upgrade, that was when I said, I'm never going to get another Apple. And then they're like, self-tapes come on. And then self-tapes become a reality. And I'm like,
And you kind of have to,
Because it does. They did, it's better than buying a whole other camera.
That's true.
Well, self-tapes, hated them with a passion. And then I would do the 30-second scene 50 times because that wasn't good. And then I would either always take one of the first 3 or the very last one. So now I do all my prep work. And as long as I've done my prep work, I give myself X number of minutes to do the scene as many times as I can and then pick the best.
That's a good
Otherwise, we're going to be there for 5 hours. Or I go do it with someone like Randy.
Oh, I hear a lot about Randy. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna. I'll do it 3 hours if you want to do it, but you're gonna pay for it. But you don't need to. You just don't need to.
Shit,
and
that's what I'm gonna start doing with you.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is not a business. No.
Sure it is.
No, it's not. No.
Michael, you got 15 minutes. Let's go.
No.
But when
Something
you
on tape
finish
and-
that
yeah.
self-tape with him,
Listen.
it looks like it's pulled right out of a movie.
Really?
He does it with a
With
Red 5,
with the big
actual
cameras.
camera that you would film a movie with. All the lighting is phenomenal, and he does all the tweaking afterwards.
Yeah.
He makes me look phenomenal. I'm like, if I looked that good in real life, I mean, come on, it's just awesome.
CGI.
But you can't always do that. I have to do it at home. So no, I think I like the self tapes because I like that flexibility of here's your deadline, but as long as you get it done before the deadline, well, we try to do it sooner than the deadline.
Sure,
That's
course.
reality. And you can do it again. It's going to be hard the first time I have to go back into a room.
Oh yeah.
Because depending on who the
God.
casting director is, you only get one shot. Hopefully it's PR and I can, get away with 2 or 3, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
The Zoom callbacks were hard because it's like, okay, you have one. This is it.
That
you
was,
might get direction. You might do it twice, but that's it.
That's my fear right now.
Yeah.
Because I kind of, when I started taking auditions, I think I went like maybe 3 times for like a live audition, like an in-person audition, and it wasn't even for anything big. It was more like for an indie film or a school project for like Columbia or whatever, or DePaul, or whatever. That's nerve wracking. I mean, imagine
For that, yeah.
I mean, I sometimes I still get nervous doing an audition on tape. It's just because, I'm in my own head. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Imagine in person and you only get 1 or 2 shots at this.
Say in school detention.
In school detention. I couldn't get that out. I couldn't get that out to save my life.
Sometimes, exactly. And it gets
Oh
stuck
my
in your
God.
head.
I could not get
How
that
many
out.
times did we have to retake
That's
that?
the
Like
worst.
5 or 6 different
Just
times?
to get the detention out.
That's the worst.
So
So now my goal is to do all my prep work like I normally would do if I were walking in a room, and then limit myself. I try to limit myself to 3 takes. Doesn't always happen.
Really?
Does not always happen, but that's what I really try to do. It's like, if you're in the room, okay, do it again. Or, you know what, I like that, but let's tweak this and do it again. So I try to direct myself. Or if I knew I didn't do something I wanted to do, that would be my second take.
Okay.
It doesn't always happen. But that's my goal.
That's fair.
So I've gotten from, this many takes to at least this many.
I wish. I wish.
No,
I'm filling up memory cards. Freaking.
That's a lot of prep. If I don't do the prep, I'm spending an hour and a half.
You know what?
Then
Here's the hard part, though. I think with prep, I think the one thing that's again, and this is the nature of the beast, right? You get used to it the more you do it. Is the amount of time you get, because you don't really get a lot of time. I mean, if you get an audition from your agent, you usually have 48 hours to maybe two days if you're lucky to put something in your head and somehow create something.
Yes.
And it could be 1 line, right? And I think I think we talked about this before as well. Like, how do you make 1 line interesting enough to get picked? Without overacting, without doing whatever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's such an. What's your process of prep? And this will be the last topic we'll talk about tonight.
For me, for me, if until I'm memorized, I have a hard time prepping anything. I mean, and doing any other prep. I do some of my prep while I'm memorizing, but until I'm off book, for me, that's the big thing. Because if I'm worried about those lines, the audition's not going to go well.
You look like you're worried about those lines.
Not going to go well. Exactly. Or you stumble where you always stumble, or you don't trust yourself. If you're really not, like he was saying, you get to the point where you want to be able to forget the lines, because then you have to be able to trust yourself. There are times when I got the line right and I stop and restart, and my reader's like, "You said it right. You said the right word. So calm down and just redo it." So my process, I try to get off book as soon as possible, because one of the great parts about memorizing is if you can memorize it, sleep on it, go back to it the next day, you remember it better.
I have read that. I've heard that before.
And it works for me. It really does.
So you would read it like right before you go to bed, and then sleep on it, and then the next morning, if you're it's in there. Like it's, I don't know. That's interesting though. That's kind of true. Like I tried that a couple times. It works. I mean, again, obviously, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But
when I was doing the 63-page one-man show, I would work on certain pages the night before I went to bed. I would wake up with those lines going through my head. That's so your brain doesn't just shelf it. But I've heard from a lot of people when they talk about memorizing, that's one of the big things is if you can do it and walk away from it, even if it's not overnight, and then come back to it, it's going to help you be more off book.
There you go.
That's the right way. And then after that's character. Then as I work through the character, I'm working through the connections. So like if we're doing a dialogue, there's probably a word in your line that triggers my next line. So that's what I'm focused on and focusing on that word versus waiting for you to hit the end of your line.
Okay.
Because then I'm already thinking through, why am I responding to that word? Because you just pissed me off, or because you struck a chord, or you just gave me the information I needed, and that's what I want to jump on, not necessarily the last word of your line.
Okay.
So making those bridges. And then sometimes I fall back on the classic acting studio, where everything has an action word.
I like that.
Concept. And it worked. It's great.
I like
it is
that
great.
concept.
So that it's all together. Or somebody else had taught me emotions. What emotion goes with that part of that script or that line. So it all comes together, and then trying to let go of it all.
Right.
And just
after all that prep and just do something. That's interesting.
And then really honestly working through some of my facial expressions, because I have a tendency to be more animated from the nose down versus my eyes. And there are times
fucking opposite. I'm all eyebrows.
Oh, see
I'm
that?
fucking all eyebrows. I'm working on trying to keep my eyes straight.
I get that, but I'm like, there are times that I'm like, oh my god, that's going to be a great take, and I go back and I watch it, and my eyes didn't move. Nothing was in my eyes. It looked like I was dead, even though I thought I was really in the scene. Like right now, my eyes are actually moving. They're actually involved.
Expressive right now.
So I have to consciously think to myself to engage my eyes. I don't tell my eyes what to do, but they have to be engaged. Right. So that to me is a conscious thought. It really annoys me, and I'm trying to get over that.
It sounds like it's annoying.
I'm like, David, we're going to work on this. We have to work, not even move them, just make sure they're engaged. Make sure they're part of the scene.
Right.
Otherwise, I would be talking to you like this, and my eyes would be kind of like this, and I might be interested because I'm focused on you, but I'm not necessarily moving them. I'm not.
Right, now you did.
So
but you see but the expression was and that's the thing. It was a natural expression he just did.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part, is trying to do that.
Yeah.
In a reaction, because again, me and you can be having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
But we're reacting naturally. Right now, if this was a film, we would win fucking Oscars.
No, right.
Legit.
Right. Exactly.
This would be the best acting ever, because this is a natural conversation and we're doing things naturally.
Exactly.
Now, do it with someone else's words, that they're not your own words. There's the challenge.
Yes.
And again, to me, like, prep for me is weird. So like when I get sides or whatever, like obviously I don't have a lot of time so I got to cram this in my head. Right. So like, and I've gotten better at memorizing things from when I first started. I think it's a mixture of doing more of them and doing more reading.
Right.
So like I started reading books a lot. And that kind of helps with like creating, because I'll tell you right now, watching movies are kind of weird for me since I'm technically an actor. Is like I don't necessarily enjoy them as much anymore.
Right? Yeah.
You too?
Yes. Right.
Oh, God.
Every fight scene, I'm like, I know what they did.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I kid you not,
they did it good, but I know what they did.
I said this last week too. I was like, I went to go watch Candyman, and the credits were in the beginning of the film, and it said Claire Simon. I'm like, oh, this is fake. So I've auditioned for Claire Simon before, so this is all a bunch of bullshit. But reading is different.
Yeah.
So when you read, there is no pictures or anything of that nature. You're creating it in your head, and I'm like, oh, this is a great exercise.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Like it exercises the brain. It gets you familiar looking at words, which, if you don't read, you lose track of, not that you lose track of how to read. You don't forget how to read, but you lose track of, words on a page and what it does for you.
It triggers your imagination, and your imagination is necessary.
And that's something that needs to be exercised, because if you don't do it, it's like when I first started reading a book, I'm like, I forgot what I read.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the problem. That's because you don't read.
Right.
Because you should be able to memorize what you read. You should create something, have it there. Now it's getting there where I'm like, okay, I can read this. I might not have it 100%, but I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's helping me with my auditions or whatever.
Yeah,
but I like the verb. I like the action verb thing.
Yes, I do too.
That's a really cool concept.
It's almost the first thing I will do is
like
at least write those down.
It's called actioning,
so we have them. Yeah, it's action. It's action words. It's right. It's shirtless.
So basically, it would be like if how do I explain it? So if you have like
to educate, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to teach you how to do something. Is my action word was I'm educating you.
Right.
So my whole tone just changed. My whole demeanor just changed.
Right. So then if you want to say, you want to try to convince me of it.
Well, then I'm going to convince you of it because I want you to understand that this is the best way.
Right. And it's a different ways you deliver the line with different actions.
To woo.
Right.
I want
or
you
to flirt or
I
whatever.
want you to come over here and get how to do this because it's going to change your life.
Yeah. And it changes little. And imagine if you have a list of action words.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say you have 100 action words and you try each one. You just practice your line 100 times.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I thought that was the most amazing concept when I heard it. And I'm like, I'm going to try it. I've been trying it here and there.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool.
It is awesome.
It's a really cool concept to try to.
And it's something to fall back on if you ever get stuck.
Yeah. Because if the director tells you, hey, do it a little different. Yeah. Well, I've already practiced 100 times how to do this.
Absolutely.
With 100 different feelings or whatever.
So pull one out.
Yeah, just pull one out. I mean, even if you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's another thing I think that I'm a big fan of. And like some people have asked me like, what do you do for your, like, if you don't have information on the side?
Right.
Make it up.
In
my opinion, make it up.
You have to.
Because you have no information, right? So, and it might be wrong. You're probably wrong, right? Because you don't know the story. But at least you chose. You made a choice. You chose to be angry or sad or happy or whatever.
Make bold choices.
Yeah, just make a choice. At the end of the day, you got to try something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's my approach.
Yeah. Jerry Kernian taught me something when I was coaching. He was a guest star. And he said, I want you to create images for every part of the script, every part of the scene. So one of the parts I was explaining, I was driving with my father out in the back roads because he knew how to lose the person that was chasing us. He goes, I want you to literally picture that whole thing. Because if you picture it, you're going to get the lines.
Right.
So that's become a big thing for me. That visualization, which also makes it real for you. And it's a memory. He goes, it's a memory. You're telling somebody a memory. Make sure you have a memory in your head.
That's a good point.
That makes sense. That's why you do what you do.
Yeah. Hey, that's you're right. Yeah. You're 100% right. I totally I am in agreement with you on that.
Yeah. So
completely.
And it's great. You pick up things from everybody and other actors.
You steal from
things.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
Michael Caine
watching
said it.
David work the other day, last Sunday, it was like, dude.
David's another one.
He's also just when he talks, he's like, it's
David is
going to be fun. I'm really looking forward.
You know what we're talking about, right? David Bianco, of course.
Oh yeah.
He's such a talent.
Yes.
And he's got such a great look. Like, it's funny because we poke jabs and, I'm pretty stereotyped and all that. But like, David is such a clean slate. Like he can do anything. Mm-hmm. And he's so talented.
Yes.
It's I only worked with him once. But even then, like you can see like his commitment. Like I think I saw him do that I think it was an audition when he did the silver, when he painted himself silver.
Yes.
Oh my God. I was just like, dude, like you are one special dude because you are committed. You are committed to this,
Was that an audition?
I think it was an audition or
video.
You watched it? He was
I thought it was like
a street performer.
I think it was what he was doing.
He was
like a street performer or something.
I didn't realize it was an audition either. I thought it was something he was really doing to make money.
I thought it was an audition. That's what I thought. But I may be wrong. But when I looked at it,
that's huge commitment to an audition.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it wasn't.
See, it's like me shaving for an audition. I would just never do that.
I mean,
sorry.
There is a price.
If it's a second callback,
yeah,
and the character needs to be clean face,
yeah.
If it's a second callback and there's a really good chance that I'm going to get it, I will shave.
Other than that,
but the reality is, this gets me auditions.
Yeah,
and I shave. I look totally different without.
I will say that. Look, I'll tell you what, because you're a bald head like I am.
Yeah.
This is the only thing we have left.
It's true.
He's a bald head like I am.
Hey,
I'm a bald head. So here's the thing, because like men that have hair can change their looks.
Yes.
Right? But we do not have any. So the only thing we can change is facial hair.
Yeah.
So you either have this, like I said this recently. I think I told you today. I was like, I was on PD. So normally what tends to happen is you don't go on for a season or two or whatever because they don't want to see you. Right. They don't want to see the same person anymore, right? I'm like, well, if you have hair, you could just change your hairstyle. You might look a little different enough for them to book you. I'm like, well, I can just shave my face and I'll look different enough.
I don't think I want to see that.
I don't want to see it either. I haven't seen my chin. I haven't seen my chin in like 20 years.
I can't even look at myself without a beard.
Really?
But I have a whole set of headshots just in case.
Yeah.
Because I could shave my beard, and if I changed my name and went to an audition, they would book me because I do not look the same. I do not look anywhere near what I look like with
the only problem with the beard is that this takes for a length like this takes a long ass time. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Hair is a little bit easier to manipulate.
And that's
hair
why
on your head's a little easier
unless I know I'm going to get that part.
Yeah,
because I'm out. No more auditions for at least 3 months, depending on the role. I mean, I could do the auditions, but don't ask me to come in and film if they want a beard.
Yeah,
I think it would take
that long.
It would take at least 4 digits to make me shave my beard. At least 4 or 5.
My slates are always I'm willing to negotiate, or if it's something I would do. You pay me.
You pay me. I'll shave my beard. I'll shave. You know what? I kind of want to shave my beard and just take headshots with it, and then just see if they even call me for auditions.
Right.
And if they don't, then I won't.
Probably not.
Hey, I'll tell you what, dude. Again, we talked about Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch is in some movies is one ugly dude.
Yeah.
And he gets auditions all the time.
Seriously. No.
But nonetheless, we're gonna start winding down.
Right.
Anywhere where people can find you, reach out to you, or for auditions or anything like that. Anybody watching you?
Hey, I'm on Casting Networks, Actors Access. I have a Vimeo. Awesome. If you Google my name, Vimeo, my name, YouTube, both of them come up. I am represented by Dream Team.
Cool.
Dream Team Talent. You can always find me there. I'm on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And with David, I'm learning to have a much greater presence on Instagram.
I'm not big on Instagram at all. No.
You know what? I've already gotten 2 offers off of Instagram now that I've started actually doing something with it.
Cool. That's good.
I'm an old man. This is new technology to me.
Well, I'm giving you an offer right now. If I ever get into acting, which I don't think I would, I want my voice dubbed with his. Yeah. That's
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
How much are you going to pay me? No.
I don't know.
It's not all about money. It's all about the love of the craft, but you got to get paid.
No, yeah.
Of course. I've learned to really hate that comment, that statement, is you got to do it for the love of the craft. Yes, you do, but you still got to pay your bills.
The Joker said it right. If you're good at something, you never do it for free.
That's right. That's right.
But again, when we are helping friends, we help each other out. Right, but that's what we do.
But there's something, even if it's a barter.
Yeah,
even if it's, I'm going to help you with this, but you're going to help me over here.
It's like a footage thing. Like it's like the whole thing with indie film. Like I'm not going to pay you, but you get footage. But even though I'm kind of iffy on that too, because sometimes the footage you can't even use it,
or you don't ever see it.
Oh, you don't ever see it. You know,
how do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. You sound like you've gotten screwed
year and a half. I never got one piece of footage. I'm like, you know what? You got to give me a name of somebody I can go after if you don't give me. I don't want to touch it.
Again, it's one of those things. Like I think you gotta move up.
Yes.
You know, I'm again. Everybody always thinks I'm against indies. I'm not against indies.
Not at all.
But there's my goal isn't to make a career in indie film. My goal is to make a career in films. Does that make sense? And there's one destination when it comes to the majority of films in the United States. That's Hollywood. Yeah. But that's the goal. That's the end game for someone like me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we take everything in stride and we work on it. I'm not saying I'm opposed to everything. I was gonna book an indie film a couple of days ago, but things didn't work out. Whatever. But you know, again, baby steps. Work your way,
and you learn.
Make your money,
and you learn.
You do learn.
You do learn. You know, Janelle Snow. She just said, "Here's the deal. I don't do anything for free. I will do something without you having to pay me." But there's going to be something. There's going to be some kind of an exchange.
Of course. Because
this is my craft and my art. This is my job. So let's figure out a way for there to be some kind of payment.
Exactly. Agreed.
And sometimes the footage just isn't enough incentive. Unless you can guarantee me that I'm going to get it in a reasonable amount of time so I can use it.
Right. But anyways, John.
Yes.
Last words, buddy. Since you haven't done too much talking over here today.
Arnold Trump's your guy, and
he's not my guy. The Rock is not my guy. He was when he was wrestling.
No, I'm not even talking about The Rock. I'm talking about the other guy.
Oh my God, stop it. That's not even. No, just stop.
You can't even say those names in the same sentence.
Yes, you cannot.
No.
Sure you can.
They don't even fit in the same sentence. But
now,
okay.
I don't know. I have this.
Can you even spell Schwarzenegger?
No. I have this.
Jeez, what kind of fan
I
are
have
you?
this weird like thing where they're gonna end up in a movie together. I don't know.
Who?
Those two.
Gary Oldman and
That'd
Arnold
be funny.
Schwarzenegger?
That would be hilarious now.
Oh,
It
no.
would have to be a comedy.
And I don't think, and Gary Oldman doesn't do comedy.
Not really.
Arnold does serious?
I guess he did.
Yeah,
He did.
You know.
He's a little, no.
Yeah.
You know what's the crazy part? They're probably, who would you say is older? Gary or Arnold?
Arnold.
Arnold? Okay, so, but not by much.
Probably
What would
not.
you say? Like maybe 10 years? Maybe less?
Maybe less.
Okay, so less than 10 years.
Mm.
And who's still the better actor? I mean, who's still relevant?
I mean,
Gary Oldman's still fucking
Gary.
relevant.
he had a movie on Netflix come out a couple
Who?
years ago.
Arnold?
Yeah.
What movie?
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
one with Stallone?
His daughter dies in a plane crash, and then he's looking for the pilot or the guy, the traffic controller that I
Totally-
forgot the movie.
Totally missed that one.
Yeah.
You can't remember the movie? It's your guy.
I don't even know what the movie is.
No, I didn't even know
It was
there.
not good.
Okay, there we go. It was not
There you
good.
go.
Good. Okay.
Watch it anyway. Support the man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
He got a paycheck.
did you have a good time, buddy?
Absolutely.
Would you be willing to join us again sometime?
Absolutely.
Cool. John, last thing. Nothing, you're good?
No, I'm good.
You're good, you're not upset?
I gave you my comments. Yeah.
All right. That's going to be our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion. And if you don't agree with it, you can piss off.